So I want to talk just a moment here about Rock Stanley, a 75-year-old former Marine from Texas who was an experienced hiker. He visited Mount Charleston, which is a mountain range outside of Las Vegas, about once a year for the last 3 decades to hike. That's 30 years the guy's been coming out here. He normally walked the trails with a partner, but Rock Stanley decided to go solo last Tuesday, 8/23, and has not been seen or heard from since. The story here from Fox 5 Las Vegas. Now, this is, of course, from August 29th. Basically, search crews had found no new evidence for this guy. They searched for him on Sunday. He had been gone several days. Civil Air Patrol conducted 2 aerial searches. Round Rock Search and Rescue Deputy Commanders had a total of 75 volunteers responded to the searches. Mount Charleston is unforgiving. They have a lot of trails out there which are safe and negotiable to navigate, but unfortunately, if you go off trail, it becomes a completely different story out there. His family did say he's an experienced hiker. He's hiked Mount Charleston once a year for 25 years. I mean, that's a lot. So the guy knew the area. He's familiar with Mount Charleston, but things can look different at different times of the year. They've been looking for any sign of where he may be, a backpack, a hat, something. There's half a dozen trails out there where volunteer groups have searched extensively, and they keep going out there and they haven't found anything. I mean, it's for the family, it's like watching a movie. It happens to other people. This kind of stuff never happens to them, but it did. It happened to them, and it could happen to anybody. And the guy deserves to be found. He spent 38 years as a Marine. He received the Meritorious Honor Award for his service, and spent 36 years as a teacher and coach in Texas. Um, Even the New York Post did a story on this disappearance. Texas Marine vet 75 vanishes while on a hike. The search continues. Rock Stanley, 75 years old, last seen on August 23rd, last seen around Mount Charleston area. Hikers reported seeing him around the North Loop Trail. Let's go ahead and break over to Google Earth and see where this North Loop Trail is. All right, so Google Earth, let's go ahead and zoom in here and find out where he was last found. Um, North Loop Trailhead, there's a coordinates to it. Let's go ahead and search and see where it takes us. We know it's somewhere in southern Nevada in the mountains, and there we have the North Loop Trailhead. Now take a look at how rugged this terrain is. You can see here in Google Earth the hills and whatnot, the features. When you zoom in from this angle, you could see here's the parking area and here's North Loop Trailhead. It was reported that Rock Stanley was found somewhere around the area of the North Loop Trailhead, disoriented. He didn't know who he was, he didn't know where he was, and it was basically somewhere around here. At that point, whoever he spoke with should have immediately called 911 or helped the guy instead of just letting him go on his way. In that condition, I'm assuming a 75-year-old man, disoriented, probably did not get far. So I would say the search area should be focused right here. Maybe expand it out a little bit here or whatnot. I seriously doubt he went any further than here. I seriously doubt it. He's got to be somewhere right around here. But I'm not Red Rock Search and Rescue. Evidently, they had over 100 volunteers out there, police, National Guard. They had some flyovers. Nobody saw him. But this is some really rugged stuff out here. So if he is to be found, it is more than likely in this area right here. I don't think he got very far because take a look how steep and rugged this stuff is. This is an extreme hike. This is a difficult hike. You could see sheer cliff faces out there, but people do it, obviously. The website Burden Hike did a really good write-up on this, so let's go ahead and take a look at that, and I'll show you what they had to say about this hike. So this is Burton Hike. It's a really good site that goes over a lot of these hikes in the southern Nevada area. And basically what they say is the North Loop is a strenuous 10.8-mile trail. It starts on Deer Creek Road, 8440 feet, and runs across hillside and exposed ridges to the summit of Charleston Peak, which is 11,000 feet. I seriously doubt the rock got all the way to 11,900 feet. That's insane. That's nuts. The only water is Cave Spring, about 4.5 miles out, where water can be filtered from a pool at the base of a cliff. Water is also available at Mummy Spring via a 0.6-mile round trip. So if he's out there, it's been a week, he would have to stop at one of these water spots. Otherwise, he's out there without water, and this heat is not a good thing. Standard warnings about hiking in the desert, narrow ledges. Here's how to get to the trailhead to viewpoint, viewpoint ridge to hill point. I'm not going to go through all this. You can basically Google Burden Hike North Loop around Las Vegas, and you'll see these pictures and illustrations and whatnot. Here's some coordinates. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. It's a strenuous hike, and that's why I don't think he made it all the way up or even part of the way up. Let's go back to the story. So yeah, I mean, you saw that it's some rugged stuff out there. But the family said he's done this trail before and always makes it home about 6 p.m. He's done it so many times. He never thought this would happen to him. His experience, he's smart. It's just completely unexpected. Here's the kind of missing poster from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, missing persons, and people who last saw him said he appeared disoriented. I mean, they said he was asking people, "Where are we? Where are you?" He just seemed kind of confused. They noticed his legs were shaking, and one of the hikers remembers thinking to herself, "This is the beginning of a trail. You know, this guy needs to turn back." Well, if they saw him in that condition, why didn't they call 911? I mean, why did they let him go on? It's really sad that people just are concerned about themselves in their own little world these days. If it was me, I probably would have said something or called the police and said, "Look, there's this guy out here. He's disoriented. You know, maybe needs medical attention." And that may be what's going on, and that's why I don't think he went very far from the trailhead. But I was not on the search team, so it's really hard to say he was disoriented. Extreme heat approaches the valley. It's extremely hot in Las Vegas. I mean, I was in lived in Texas for a long time where it really gets hot. This is some heat here. It's 110 degrees plus around here in the valley. Now it's a little cooler up in the mountain, but still, I mean, the afternoons up there, it gets really, really hot. And finally, this is an article from August 31st. And they said, still further efforts were taken Wednesday. That's a week after he was last heard from to find the guy. Red Rock Search and Rescue conducted 5 searches with 100 volunteers, more than 1,000 man-hours, covering square miles both on and off the trail. Nothing was found for this guy. He simply disappeared without a trace. I keep thinking, what if it happened to me? What if I disappeared? What if it was a family member? I just wish there was something I could do. Just maybe there was something I could do to help. A little over 1 week ago, a 75-year-old rock Stanley from Texas disappeared into this vast wilderness and has not been seen since. Is he still out here? Did something happen to him? Did he have an accident? Was he attacked? Or did something happen and somehow he passed away in these mountains? Nobody knows. All right, we're here at the Spring Mountains this time, the North Loop hiking trail. Last Tuesday, Rock Stanley, a 75-year-old former Marine from Texas, was an experienced hiker. He visited Mount Charleston once a year for the last 3 decades to hike. He normally walked the trails with a partner, but Rock Stanley decided to go solo on Tuesday, 8/23. He was last seen by hikers here around the North Loop Trail that Tuesday. He has not been seen since. He sent a text message to his son Tuesday night saying he was lost in the woods somewhere out here, trying to backtrack. The family eventually reached him by cell phone Wednesday, 8:24 around 5 a.m. and said he was still trying to get some help. Search crews include Las Vegas Metro Police, National Guard, Civil Air Patrol, as well as Red Rock Search and Rescue. Now, I was out here last weekend. Red Rock Search and Rescue was here, but they have since packed up and left. I don't know if they've actually ended the search for Rock Stanley, but either way, the man has not been found yet. So he may still be out here. We don't know if he is alive or what happened to him. We did hear that his brother tried to call, and the guy randomly answered 5:20 a.m. Wednesday morning, the day after he disappeared. He said he was with some people who are helping him, and when they wake up, they're going to take him back to the lodge where he's staying. But It's unknown if he was really with someone or he was just disoriented. So either way, let's head out here to the North Loop Trail, see if we can find any evidence to what happened to this guy. Clearly it's been searched a lot. There's a lot of people out here. I'm assuming still looking for the guy, but this is the trail. It's a very rugged trail. Very much unlike the Desert National Wildlife Reserve where we've been going for looking for Kenny Beach. But anyway, we're gonna come out here a little bit, see if we can find, I don't think we're gonna find the guy. It's been searched heavily, but like anything else, it's Las Vegas. If you don't throw your hand on the table, you're not gonna win. So let's come on out here and see what we can find and see if there's any evidence of Rock Stanley who disappeared. Now this is non-detonated explosives. What they do is they use artillery from the military that's on loan, and they fire these artillery rounds into the mountains to trigger landslides. So it's better to have a controlled landslide than it is to have an uncontrolled one, and that's why they say you could find unexploded artillery rounds here. Now you may notice I'm a little out of breath. It's not because I'm out of shape. This is 8,500 feet elevation, so it's way up here. It's a little higher than Desert National Wildlife Reserve. Well, we're gonna keep going and see what we can find. This is a rugged trail, and these high elevations do make it a little bit harder to breathe. That sign down there does say elevation over 8,500 feet, so we're way up there. Now this isn't Mount Charleston. Mount Charleston goes up to 11,000 feet, and that's way over that direction. Where we're going is still up there. You can see these trees. It's a lot cooler than it is in the deserts or downtown Las Vegas where it's hot these days, but up here it's warm but manageable. Very different environment than the desert down below. All right, it's getting a little bit easier now that we've gotten going. Running into a few hikers, looking around. It's very rugged terrain, a lot of brush and trees. The missing hiker, Rock Stanley, he could be literally laying behind a log somewhere and you wouldn't even know it. So he could be anywhere out here. Red Rock Search and Rescue, these guys are a volunteer team. They've been out here searching, didn't find anything. Civil Air Patrol, I believe National Guard done some flyovers as well. Didn't see anything. The guy just simply disappeared out here. And look around. It is a vast wilderness area. And this is just a small fraction of the Mount Charleston area, so very easy to disappear out here. You could see huge trees that you don't see in the Desert National Wildlife Reserve where Kenny Beach disappeared. So it's very different terrain. We've got kind of an overlook here and some possible side trails forking off, but the main trail appears to be right here. So this is where we're going to keep on going. So you can see the rugged rocky terrain here. It's easy to lose your balance and trip. There are other hikers out here. There was a lot of cars parked out there that you saw. So people are out here hiking. It's the way the ground is kind of worn here, you could see it's a very well worn and popular hiking trail. And Rock Stanley was coming out here once a year for the past 30 years, so he knew this area well. He felt comfortable out here. But what happened to him is anybody's guess. Some people have said that he was on a new blood pressure medicine that may have somehow had some interaction with the higher altitude. He's getting older. Maybe he wasn't in as good a shape as he used to be. It's really hard to say. But you can see this trail has got rocks, hairpin turns. It's a lot more rugged than what we're used to out in the middle of the desert. I mean, we've been through worse, obviously, but it's still a fairly rugged trail for a 75-year-old man, even if he is in shape. Okay, this trail and elevation, no joke. Let's take a look at some numbers. 15 minutes, about half a mile, 225-foot elevation gain, heartbeat about 150 beats per minute. Yeah, it's wearing me out. And I'm more than 20 years younger than Rock Stanley was, in considerable shape, I exercise every day, and this is kicking my butt. Did Rock Stanley have a heart attack out here? A 75-year-old man carrying gear in this heat by himself, if he pushed himself too hard, that's entirely possible. He could be in a clump of bushes. The only way to know he's there is the smell of his body, if that's what happened to him. Now I'm taking a little bit slower pace and it's a little bit easier, but hiking my normal pace that I do down in the desert, National Wildlife Reserve, just isn't gonna cut it up here. This high elevation is no joke. And this rocky trail is almost all uphill. So my goal right here is to go at least a mile and document this the best I can. And then we're gonna turn back and we're gonna head back down the mountain a little bit to Robber's Roost, towards the Robber's Roost cave. Now, on the map, it's a short distance between here and there, but driving by it, it's extremely rugged with some extremely deep canyons. I was gonna hike there, but I'd be hiking over this stuff. And this is just nuts at this high elevation. I mean, look at these jagged rocks. Look at these trees. This is some serious stuff. And it's no doubt that a 75-year-old would have to be in top physical condition to hike this. This is literally like climbing a set of stairs. See this? Look how rugged this is. I mean, you've got some fallen logs sort of showing you where the path is. It's a well-worn path, and as long as you stay on this trail, it'll be pretty hard to get lost, even at night. I mean, it'd be obvious if you're off the trail. See, looking around, this is a well-worn path. So whatever happened to Mr. Stanley, the man clearly may have got confused, disoriented, and I don't even see evidence of people camping up here. So if he was with somebody at 5 a.m. and they were sleeping out here, I mean, who knows? Now this trail should go all the way to Mount Charleston, all the way to the top, which I believe is 10 miles, maybe 8 miles. But considering we have gone, how far have we gone? Not even 3/4 of a mile. I would say that'd be a stretch even for someone like Kenny Beach. See how rugged this is. Elevation gain, we're approaching the 9,000 foot level. So oxygen is a lot thinner up here. But we're gonna keep going. And if you're watching this, obviously we made it back safely. The view up here is breathtaking. Way out there you can see the, that's the highway somewhere down there. That's Desert National Wildlife Reserve. And those mountains, somewhere in those mountains, that's where Kenny Beach disappeared. Now you notice those tall mountains where he disappeared, we're looking down on them. We're almost at the 9,000 foot level. And those mountains go up about 6 or 7,000 feet. So we're way up here. You could tell just by the vegetation. It's a lot different terrain, a lot harder to hike than it is down there. But we're gonna keep on going for now. You can see a lot of sheer cliff faces. I haven't seen animals so far, any signs of life. I've seen no trash. The only thing I've seen is footprints. No evidence of the missing hiker so far. Our goal today is to go at least a mile, just to kind of see what the terrain's like, to see what kind of terrain that this missing hiker was hiking on, and see if it is possible for a 75-year-old man to go any big distance out here. Right now I'm saying it will be pretty difficult. 3/4 mile mark, right about here. And I'm trying to stop and take a brief break every now and then, catch my breath, because we are, like I said, probably, I don't even know, like I said, almost 9,000 foot level. And this guy could be anywhere, sitting behind a tree. He could have propped himself up behind a tree, and his body could be laying anywhere. It's hard to say, almost impossible. Impossible to know. We're pressing on. We're about 1.5 tenths of a mile before 2. It looks like somebody put a marker here. But this is a common hiking path, so who did this is anybody's guess. Did Mr. Stanley do this? It's really hard to say. As for if he's out here, I mean, look around, he could be anywhere. He could. And this hike right here, again, I'm much younger than he is. I'm in shape, I work out daily. I do these hikes all the time. My legs aren't tired. It's just cardio because of the high altitude and lack of oxygen. But this is a very difficult hike, even for somebody in shape. And you can see the terrain and how this is mostly uphill, what makes it so difficult. Well, let's press on. We're almost at the 1 mile mark, and that's our goal today. All right, we're at the one mile mark. That is Griffith Observatory, Griffith Peak out there, and you can see we are at the 8,967 foot level, so we're at 9,000 feet. We're way up there. All right, I've been hiking for about 30 minutes, 500 foot elevation gain, 1.04 miles. This is where we had planned to turn back, so we're going to turn back now in the interest of time. It is a weekday, so unfortunately we have other commitments, and I'm also going to try to do the Robber's Roost hike after this. So we're going to head back down the mountain and do the Robber's Roost hike. There are other people up here hiking, so if that missing hiker is out here somewhere, chances are somebody may have seen him. And what we're going to do right now is like I said, it was a strenuous hike getting up here, but we're going to head back down, which is expected to be much easier. This is a big clearing, and looks like a small wash here leading out here, which almost looks like a path. So I'm just going to walk out here a little bit towards and just see what we could see. I'm not saying we're going to find anyone or anything, but if Rock Stanley did go off the trail, something like this, especially if he was older, disoriented, he may have gone this way. He may have thought it was a shortcut, so we're just going to pop out here a little bit and then head right back to the trail and head back down. But you could see, looks like maybe a boot print there, hard to say. But yeah, if maybe he thought he was taking a shortcut, because if you remember coming up here, we're kind of zigzagging. So maybe he thought this was a shortcut. Now, you notice this hike is mostly uphill. And he did say in a text message, I believe, or a phone call to his family, he's trying to backtrack. So maybe he did go off the trail. Maybe he was going somewhere like this, where it's off the trail, but it's extremely rugged. And thing is, as you could see, going up was very, very difficult, but going down is much easier. Now, I'm not going to go much farther because I don't want to really get lost myself. It's easy to get lost out here in these woods. It's not like the open desert where it's relatively hard to get lost. This is a little bit easier with all the trees. What I am going to do is hike over here to this overlook and see what the view is like. All right, so here we are at this whole small overlook. It's not really a cliff, as you can see, but if Mr. Stanley was over here and somehow fell down and hit his head, he could have easily been around somewhere like this. Now you can see way up over there, those kind of colors, that's the parking area. That's where we parked. So you could see Rock Stanley was last seen by where those cars are. He could be anywhere. This is an extremely vast wilderness area out here, and he could be anywhere. So if he is still out here, it's hard to say if he'll ever be found again. Again, that mountain over there, that's Griffith Peak, Griffith Observatory. It's a really high peak. There's some off-road trails out there for off-roading, great off-road trails, and the other side of that is some really great off-road trails as well. But out here, you can't get anything out here except your own two legs. I mean, it's just too rugged. You could probably take a dirt bike out here, not really dirt bike trails, but there are dirt bike trails out here. So look at those cars down there, short distance in a straight line. Did Mr. Stanley go down there to try to take a shortcut? I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't. If he came out here all the time, he would know that this is too damn rugged to go out there and try to find a shortcut. So one would think he would stay on the trail because it's not that difficult. So what we're gonna do is head straight this way back to the trail, because I don't want to get lost out here. And I saw this here, and originally I thought it was a piece of trash, but what I think it is a giant, I saw this here, I thought it was a piece of trash. What it is, it's a giant mushroom under there. Some kind of a giant mushroom. Lots of species of mushrooms out here. Only a few are poisonous. Is this good to eat? In a survival situation, you'd have to really know what is or isn't good to eat. I don't know. I wouldn't eat it. So let's press on, try to make it back to that trail. Another possibility also, did Mr. Stanley not have food and spend the night out here, get hungry, eat what he thought was a plant that was safe to eat, and somehow it wasn't? No, I can tell you right now, I'm not saying I'm lost, I'm just saying I have no idea where the trail is. but we weren't that far from it, so it's got to be out here somewhere. I think I see it. I'll be honest, I'm an experienced hiker, but for a moment there I was a little worried because I didn't see the trail. But as you can see, here it is, plain as day. Now at night's a different story. If Mr. Stanley was out here at night, yeah, it's almost impossible to find this. During the day, you can tell that I went on a straight line from out there to that overlook, right back here to the trail, and found it relatively easy. But I was a little worried because I couldn't see it. And that's how easy it is to get lost out here. And that's clearly what happened to Mr. Stanley. Let's press on. Now I will say that walking downhill is a breeze. This is no problem at all. 75-year-old could easily do this. Walking up is a completely different story. It's a difficult hike, it's a strenuous hike. Deer, there's a lot of deer here. There's animal, you know, bobcat, raccoon, you name it. Even mountain lion, there's a lot of mountain lion up here. Did a predator get Rock Stanley? It's doubtful. I haven't really heard of any mountain lion attacks or coyote or bobcat, but anything's possible, especially if he hurt himself. Bigger game, a bear, or even, I know, Sasquatch. I haven't heard of any reports of those out here, so I don't think that's a concern. For us, we do carry a pistol just in case, but I don't foresee any reason to use it. It's a fairly common trail, and you know, animals smell humans a mile away and generally stay away, so I wouldn't expect to run into anything out here, but you never know. So just be careful, keep your eyes open, and press on. So we just ran into the hiker. He did not want to be in the video, so I respect that. And I say he's 55 years old, hiking up this no problem, and he paces himself. He had a watch like mine, and said he paces himself, watches heart rate, takes a break as needed, which is a good thing to do. And he said he's seen people actually jogging up something like this, even his age. So it's entirely possible that people could be out here doing that. So yeah, the ground's rugged, but it's much easier coming downhill than it is going up. And we're making pretty good time heading back to the vehicle. Now you can see that you're kind of you crisscross the trail, and it's cooler out here than it is in the valley. It's really kind of nice. People bring their dogs up here, and it's a great place to get exercise, but it is strenuous. You got to be in shape. So I am seeing people up here. They may still be searching for the missing hiker, but you could see walking down here, there's only so much ground you can cover, only so much you can search. I mean, you can come up and down this trail every day and still not see everything. So you make an honest attempt to try to find somebody who's missing, but unfortunately at the end of the day, if the search is fruitless, all you could do is call it off, and it's sad. So if you come out here and you're lost, people aren't going to find you. This is going to be your final resting place, so that's why you need to take every precaution coming out here. And one of the guys I just ran into was saying, if you get your heart rate up to 159 beats per minute like I did earlier, you really need to rest and let it slow down, which is exactly what I did. So I'm not 18 again, but I'm not 75. I'm somewhere in between, and I'm relatively in shape, but I'm not invincible. So you just gotta watch yourself and take your time and be safe coming out here. Morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. You can see a lot of hikers on the trail today. Seem to be passing more people as we're going down than we were going up. And if you come out here, you want to do it early in the morning when it's still cool, instead of the afternoon heat. Now up in these mountains, honestly, it's a little warm, but this is perfect for hiking. And I will say this, as far as the directions where the vehicles are, hell, I couldn't even tell you. I have absolutely no clue. We'd have to rely on a compass, GPS to find it. The only way I know where to go is following this well-worn path. Other than that, if you don't have a compass, or GPS, you will be lost out here, because you just simply cannot see where you're going. It's not wide open like the Desert National Wildlife Reserve is. But we're following this well-worn path that I know will get into the car, and you can see in the distance that's Griffith Peak out there, so I know we're going in the right direction, and this path should eventually get us back to the vehicle. Looking at our watch here, look, 1.66 miles, so we're probably about half a mile from the vehicle, I'm assuming, somewhere in that area, so it shouldn't be too much further. So again, these dense woods, steep hills, without there being a path here, I would be completely lost, assuming I had no GPS or compass. Now, I do remember this clearing and this overlook here, and I am hearing cars not too far out, so I know we're on the right track. But if you were to go off, maybe up that hill a little bit, possibly try to take a shortcut, it's not that hard to get lost. It's not that hard to get hurt. There are rattlesnakes out here. You can get bit. There are mountain lions. Again, I have not heard of mountain lions attacking people. They generally run the other direction, but who knows? You know, one's injured or cornered or rabid. Hard to say. You fall, you break your leg, and somewhere in these remote areas, human beings just never go. It's rugged, it's remote, and Rock Stanley could be somewhere in that ravine over there, and if nobody ever goes down there, he will literally never be found again. So we've got less than half a mile back to the vehicle, and we're going to keep plugging on and get back safely. So there's the road down there, and we're obviously very close. I could see some other hikers around here, and surprisingly, a lot of people bring a very minimal amount of gear. No backpack, no water, or maybe just one backpack and a water bottle or two. We've got a full 3-liter Camelback packed with survival gear, binoculars, first aid, you name it. If we had to spend the night out here, I'm prepared for it. Don't want to, but I'm prepared. Cell phone's got battery, so we should be fine. I just try to take every precaution, which you should coming out here. Just part of being prepared. I have no idea what Mr. Stanley had with him. Yeah, you can see the road down there, so we're almost at the vehicle. So yeah, there's the road. We're almost at the vehicle. Morning. Morning. And you can see hiking poles are a good idea, but we didn't bring any this time. And it's really not that strenuous of a hike, so I don't think they're really necessary. But there's so many people out here. Surprisingly, the folks I spoke with, they have not heard of the missing hiker at Rock Stanley. So a lot of these people are not actually looking for him, they're just out hiking. So it's entirely possible that he could be found by accident by somebody, because it is a well-traveled hiking path. And it is remote, so even though it's well-traveled, you can see how easy it is to get lost out there. So here we are at the end of the trailhead, and our vehicle there was no parking here, so we got to go down the road a little bit back to the vehicle. Please stay on the trail. Did Mr. Stanley stay on the trail? It's unlikely at this point since he hasn't been found. So we're almost back at the vehicle. So I hope you enjoyed this hike up the North Loop Trail. If you like these videos, please subscribe and you'll be notified when I post new content. I do try to post something significant when I do. And please comment down below. I love your comments. They help me improve my videos. I love hearing what you have to say. And that's it. Until next time, see you on the next adventure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the videos, please subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified when I post a new one. All of my videos are unscripted as they happen. I can't promise they'll be exciting, but I can promise they'll be 100% real. My name is Steve from Las Vegas, and these are my adventures.